Welcome, everybody. I am so excited to be here with the brilliant, the diva, Dr. Lenora Green-Turner. And we are going to be having a wonderful conversation leading up to a performance that's coming up on February 1st at 2 p.m. at the Christian Life Cathedral Chapel in Fayetteville, Arkansas. So I'm really excited to be here with her today to talk a little bit about this amazing repertoire that you're going to be presenting and performing in. So it's based on the music of the poetry of Langston Hughes. And I wanted to ask you what first drew you to this concert and to the music inspired by Langston Hughes's poetry.
Well, Langston Hughes is very vital in all of this music because during the time where people felt free enough and ready to write and create, Langston Hughes was the poet to go to, the author to go to.
He was like a
He
pioneer in that movement.
he was. He also wrote for a few operas and things like that with William Grant Still. This era that I'm speaking about is the Harlem Renaissance. It's really exciting. We can go into detail, but I don't want to give everything away.
I
But
get it. That's so exciting.
when you find an author that is a philanthropist and is speaking about you and the experiences of your culture, it's just amazing to listen to because you can say, yeah, I know that feeling, or oh, I never thought of it that way. Oh, wow.
I actually,
So,
I had a friend recently. We finished at our book club reading a book, and she said about the author that it was incredible that this author, without ever meeting her, knew exactly how she was feeling. And I think Langston
mhm.
Hughes perhaps does that a lot for a section of the community that maybe at times feels disenfranchised or unheard or in obscurity. And he really helps to bring those feelings and the worth of, the individual to light. And I think, as a fan of his poetry, certainly, I've always thought that Langston Hughes's words are very musical on their own. So, as a soprano that you are, how do you approach giving voice to the poetry through song?
Well, you read over and over and over and over again, because some phrases that you have read at face value may seem totally different when the composer has put music to it because they have their own voice as well. So it's a meshing of the two. It's a meshing of the times. It's a meshing of personalities. As a soprano, let's just say soprano is just a voice type. It's
The
the most
best voice
important
type.
thing is, of course, but but I would say that voice is a voice, and to make sure that the opinion comes across truthfully and believable, I think that's the best thing that I could do to this, and hopefully, I'm doing it justice.
I think it's going to be brilliant. And is there a particular poem or piece in the program that most resonates with you? And if so, why?
Oh, mhm. My favorite, I think my favorite ones, all of them are really great. But my favorite ones are the Songs of the Seasons by Margaret Bonds and the last piece in that called Summer Storm.
Oh,
And it's jazzy. It has a little bit of ragtime flair, lots of wonderful piano
riffs.
virtual risk virtuoso. So you can just see her and you can see the life of this Harlem Renaissance. And yeah, I hope everybody loves it as much as I do.
So, pivoting a little bit to what people can expect to experience, what's the emotional journey that you hope the listeners will have during the concert?
I chose the word experiencing for a reason. I hope that everyone sees Langston Hughes as a person. He was
Mm.
definitely an all-American person, but there's depth to that. Yes, being African American, but he was also Hispanic. I don't know if people know
I
that.
had no idea.
His father was Hispanic. He didn't spend much time in his life, but he loved him. He went to go visit him, things like that. Because of the times, people were passing that this is hard, passing for white just to
Yeah.
make it in their livelihood. But just to see him as a person who loved people, loved his culture, loved life, I think that's the journey that I would like people to gather.
That's really beautiful, the complexity of the creator. I think that that's something really powerful. So you touch a little bit on this, but as both a scholar and a performer, how do you balance that intellectual interpretation with the emotional expression that you have to have when you're singing this repertoire?
Okay. So most of this, whether this music is wonderful, but it's also difficult. I really have to get into the music, make sure that I'm minding the certain chordal structure that is given. You'll hear it in the Margaret Bonds, but also the Robert Owens that I'm singing Heart on the Wall. Um, his music it looks easy, but when you're singing, there takes concentration to all of them. And with the words of Langston Hughes, everything has a deeper meaning than, like I said, face value.
That's fascinating
Um,
because you get to interpret that with the musicality. It's what the words
mhm.
say, but it's really the subtext that can come through your performance of
Yes,
it.
and I wish I could do a recording with this because really, if you're listening to this music, there are about five, maybe 10 layers that you have to dig into, and that would make you love, like truly love the artwork. Like every time you go and listen, there's something new that you should be listening to.
I think a lot of jazz music is definitely like that as well because you get to uncover kind of in the nuance and between the notes, and there's always
Yeah.
a little bit left over there that's maybe unspoken or unsaid or unsung. But then, as you penetrate it more, as you listen to it more, you really develop almost a feeling, more so
Yeah.
than the actual technical notes that are in the music. So I'm so excited for this.
And I'm probably answering one of your next questions. So part of those layers is the fact that it's art song. This is a vocal classical art song rather than just jazz. It has jazz elements, but all of the composers are scholars in their craft of piano works.
Mm,
So they have a totally different voice. Um, very, I wouldn't say academic, but everyone has their own specialties.
mm.
It may turn your stomach, it may make you think, it may make you happy. I think a lot of it will make you happy.
Yeah.
And a lot of things, you will gather a sense of more emotion and love and passion throughout.
Oh, this makes you want to be in it right now.
Yay!
I was going to ask you how does performing music that's rooted in African American poetry and history feel different from you from other repertoire that you have and that you sing?
It's different because I can really connect to it. Although I do connect to all of the pieces that I sing. Let's say contemporary classical music gets a little hard sometimes when you have to pick notes out of the air.
Major seventh.
And you're like, what was that? And then am I singing it right? There's a certain excellence that all of these composers were trying to achieve. A lot of the music can be much more virtuosic. So these are not for your typical kid voices.
Yeah. This is not
They're
for
meant
beginners.
for the singers. They're meant for professionals to sing this music. And as a professional, um, if I don't sing it with full passion, tell me to get off the stage.
I think it's really
I
interesting. I don't know if you know Amanda Cole. I took lessons with her for a time. Um, she does all sorts of music. She's a fantastic jazz singer, and we did all sorts of repertoire. I've been classically trained, but I wanted to learn how to sing more pop music and more
Mhm.
contemporary music. And when we would sing in Spanish, I'm Cuban, and so when I would sing in Spanish, she would say something lit up, something that wasn't there when I was singing Shania Twain and when I was singing some of the other music. And it was I think it's connected to the passion. I think there's, when you connect to the material, when you feel closeness with the composer or with the poet, when you feel that kind of guttural connection, there's something that comes alive. And I think as a vocalist,
Mhm.
you were describing it. You have to have the technical aspect, but there's something that just connects your mind, your body, your soul, and then that's kind of where the magic happens.
Most definitely. Most definitely. You explained it very well. And I
Well, because I
challenge all my
understand you.
students to do it too. Yes, 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 yes. What has surprised me the most is that a lot of people haven't heard this music. Um, and I know for some strange reason, I know that that's the typical atmosphere. This music has been here for years. Let's say 1920s.
A
Say that again?
century, yeah, a century. It's been
Yeah.
here for a century.
And actually, Margaret Barnes was one of the younger ones. She's the baby of the Harlem Renaissance. My mentor, Dr. Louise Toppin, she actually compiled an anthology of the Margaret Barnes just in 2021, actually.
Wow.
So a lot of this music hasn't been heard, and I mean, it was heard in their time, but it was hidden away in somebody's attic until we ended up, finding it and publishing it. So that's the big surprise, and it's marvelous. I
And I'm
just
so glad
hope
you're
I
bringing it
can
to
do it
Northwest
justice. Yeah,
Arkansas.
like I can say, I could just hope I can bring it justice. I'm really excited to bring this music to you.
So this is going to be something that's going to be new to so many of us because, as you just mentioned, it hasn't been performed, it hasn't been brought out into the light in several decades. So for someone
Hmm.
who may not be as familiar with classical vocal music generally, not even just this genre or the specific pieces, but what makes this a concert that's an inviting entry point for them to come into this genre?
Well, just the fact that it's for you. All this music should be heard. The voices should be heard. This poetry should be heard. It's another voice that we should understand and dig into and honor, even if it turns you a wrong way. It just everyone has an opinion. This is all American music. We pride ourselves in America that we have the freedom of speech, and yeah, I think everyone should just have time to experience these great works that were crafted and their excellence just for you.
Love that. And I guess we'll part with one more question. If Langston Hughes could attend this concert, what do you hope he would recognize or appreciate in your performance?
Oh my gosh, first of all, I'd have to pick myself up off the floor, pick my mouth off the floor. It's fun. It's fun to think about the genealogy of some of this stuff. So Robert Owens actually was given his music. So The Heart on the Wall, Opus 14, I believe, was given to Robert Owens. And he was like, I just want you to be the artist that you are. You find he was very exploratory. And I actually got a chance to meet Robert Owens and sing the first song for him.
Wow.
And as you know, I was so excited about the fact that I had met someone who met Langston Hughes. One of his instructions to me was to sing with reckless abandon. I want him to see that I love this music as well. And as musical as his literature and his words, his phrases are, I would just want him to enjoy it. So if he could see the artistry and see that I love it and say, good job, I
Well, I
would be
think you
so
you brought it
happy.
back full circle because you started by talking about the freedom, right? The freedom to write, the freedom to express these thoughts. And then the
Mm-hmm.
fact that he gave the artist the freedom to interpret, and that ultimately you're getting the freedom also to personify this music in a new way for a new audience that has never had the opportunity to enjoy it. So I'll close off with one of my favorite verses by Langston Hughes, which is hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly. And I hope that that will also inspire our audience, set us free, let us fly, and really feel so inspired by what is going to take place. So I hope everybody runs to the VOCE website, picks up their tickets February 1st, 2026, 2 o'clock at the Christian Life Cathedral Chapel. Thank you so much, Dr. Lenora.
Thank you.